CataractCoach.com. Brunescent, dense rock of a cataract. How do you stop and chop to conquer this tough case? This is a very brunescent cataract. I've sped the video up at 2.5 times normal speed, but just look at that nuclear density. Absolutely no red reflex. Just looking at this case makes me feel a little anxious, a little tense. Because we know it's going to be a tough case, right? So there's the trypan blue dye going inside the eye. Pro tip, if you want it to stain really well for a video, leave it in the eye for longer. 30 seconds, even 60 seconds, it'll stain beautifully. Now washing it outside, here's some viscoelastic on the cornea, some HPMC, dispersive hydroxypropylmethylcellulose, filling up the anterior chamber as well. Oh, yep, there we go. Rexus time. Do not make a baby rexus. Make a nice, generous, big rexus. Why? You do not want a 4.5 millimeter rexus in this case. It's so hard to remove the nucleus. There's no cortex in this eye. It's all dense nucleus. So I love that rexus. That's a 6 millimeter rexus. I'll take it. Let me be the first to give you permission. In a dense brunescent rock like this, your rexus does not have to overlap the eye wall optic. It's okay to make it 6. I even tell you 6.5. Don't worry about it. So nice 6 millimeter rexus, more viscoelastic going inside the eye. Let's see the technique. So a little more viscoelastic, maybe a soft shell technique there with some second viscoelastic. Here comes the probe. Got to crank up your power now. You know it's dense. Don't put 20% phaco power. This needs 100. And now look at the grooves that are being done appropriately, not too deep at a time. Like scooping dense ice cream. If you have ice cream that's really frozen, minus 20 degrees Celsius ice cream, you can't use your spoon and dig really deeply in it. You have to go shallow on your passes. Same with this. With a dense nucleus, you do not want to go deep grooves. You want to do a little bit at a time, giving plenty of power with the phaco tip. Now, let's see, making a paracentesis, perhaps ready to get some cracking done here. So putting in the second instrument, looks like the second instrument's a chopper, maybe, or a Sinski, or a sharp chopper, maybe. And now holding the nucleus with the phaco probe, trying to get it split. You can use the vacuum of the nucleus, of the phaco, to hold the nucleus. Still not really a crack just yet. There's a little crack. There it is. But it's hard to propagate it in a dense cataract like this. Really hard to propagate it. So trying to rotate the nucleus. That's a good move. And now go rotate it 180 just about. And there we go. Now it's splitting. So once you get this thing split, it's going to be a lot easier. Now you can go and do a little chop if you need to. But even then, remember, there's a posterior plate that's fibrous. And the pieces don't want to split. In some of these cases, I've been doing more MSICS. That manual extraction of the nucleus sometimes is a lot easier to do and gentler on the corneal endothelium. So coming out with the probe, hey, I like the recoat. Beautiful idea. Recoating with viscoelastic there. And now let's go back in with the phaco probe. That's just to protect those corneal endothelial cells. And now taking out the cataract. Now you feel like you have a break. Wow, there's light getting on the retina for the first time. There's a red reflex. That retina's thinking, thank you for giving me light. And so now here we go, half a nucleus remaining, buzzing in. Now seeing if you can get that chop propagated. Even then, see, the chop doesn't want to propagate that fibrous posterior plate, but beautiful, technique here where you don't give up, keep applying that force to split the nuclear pieces. There it is. And look at the endonucleus is going to be denser than the outer nuclear parts. That central endonucleus is going to be the densest of all. But beautiful job there, fantastic. And another recoat, right? I love it. Great job. I would have done the exact same thing. On a case like this, you want to recoat the endothelium multiple times. Just why not, right? Viscoelastic is cheaper than vitreous, we know that, but it's also cheaper than corneal endothelial cells. So buzzing in here, now taking these last few pieces out. And you just have to be persistent with this. It's just a dense rock. And with time and patience and good technique, you'll get it out. Now, be careful of one thing. What's that? When you get the last piece out of the bag and nothing's weighing down the bag, remember there's hardly even any cortex. There's certainly no epinuclear shell. Nothing's holding the bag down. The bag can fly up and hit your phaco tip, and you don't want to have that happen. So be very cautious here at the ends. I'd slow things down, nice and easy, slow on the foot pedal. Last few pieces, wow, what a beautiful outcome. Fantastic job. Fantastic job of aspirating out and emulsifying that incredibly dense cataract. Now you can see, look, very little cortex, certainly no epinuclear shell. But having that big rex has really made life a lot easier here. So now clean up the cortex, whatever little's remaining. Let's get that lens in, let's see. Keep in mind too, see this eye has a lot of arcus senilis. This is the type of eye where you can have a nuclear piece or a chip hiding in the angle and you don't see it because of the arcus. And then the next day you see him with the slit lamp and you say, hello, what happened here? So here comes the lens going in the capsular bag. Again, beautiful technique here. Very nicely done. Get that dialed into good position. Fantastic. Going in, removing the viscoelastic, call this a day. So take home points for dense brunescent cataract, big rexes. Do not make a small rexes. You got to get that thing out. Number 2, plenty of viscoelastic. Recoat multiple times. Number 3, remember, you're going to have a dense posterior plate there. You got to be very cautious. And you too can conquer this case.